So when I saw this undercover video of people who working for Planned Parenthood or people who work in the abortion industry pretty much saying what we've all been saying for a long time, that they sell off unborn, it's hard for me to even like say it without wanting to like throw up, unborn babies, selling off their body parts and their tissue to science to experiment on.
So I have two providers who go up to 24 weeks, and Ann is one of the providers. And I'm so sorry. Met the other provider that goes up to 24 weeks, which is Anitra Beasley.
Okay.
And Ann is the other provider that goes up to 24 weeks as well. So if you want more intact ones, she's the one you kind of need to talk to.
You're the one to see, huh?
I had a patient,
Yeah, like,
sometime in the past few months, I don't remember what it was, she wanted footprints, and I had a resident with me that day, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this procedure because I'm going to try and do my best to get these feet out and try and do my best to get these feet out and try and do my best to get these feet out and get these feet out and
Right.
we did footprints and handprints, baby.
Dude, you guys are awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
our best.
Well, I mean,
But they need like the liver mostly and the
right now we're getting a lot for liver and thymus. Liver is in short demand. Dude, like there's people right now, most of the people, like ABR, some of our competitors, they're not even selling the tissue. They're like, oh, we'll give you an isolation. And we're like, well, why can't I get it? And they're like, well, because it's in short demand right now, it's more profitable for us to isolate it and sell you the vials rather than give you the entire tissue. And I'm just like, are you serious?
It's funny because ever since, I think I remember, it was like 6 months or a year ago you told me about the proposition. And so now every time I do a DNA, I'm like, oh, there's some lung.
Yeah, you already know, huh?
Like, I can, like, I'm like, because I'm
we can do this. I'm telling you.
Down. No, I'm excited.
You told me about the proposition. And so now every time I do a DNA, I'm like, oh, there's some lung.
Yeah, you already know, huh?
I was like, where is I was like, where's my guy who can play with the tissue? I was like, because they're like trying to sort of, and I was like, I'm like picking up, I'm like, you know, they're like, well, can you show us a sample from today? And I'm like, I was like, was this a really bad day for us? And
I
it was
remember
only
you
one
mentioned that there was
sample.
one that day.
And it was like one bad sample. It was like a 16-year-old kid.
Please go on.
It was like a 16-year-old kid, so we just had to hurry up. Whereas like other days, it's like more intact, where it's like maybe only like an arm that's
I would imagine
disarticulated. Other days, it's like more intact, where it's like maybe only like an arm that's
I would imagine
disarticulated.
most weeks, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, anywhere
That's
between
what I
5 and
told
10
them.
samples a week.
See?
I mean, just between Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Wow.
Typical.
And that's what I was telling you. Like, we like 30 to 50 is like a good number for the month. Like, easy.
Easy. Okay.
Easy.
Easy. Okay.
Easy.
Easy. Okay.
Easy.
Easy. Okay.
That's really busy.
Wow.
See?
No, that's phenomenal. I mean, you're going to be busy.
But he's the one that likes to play with pocket. I was like, where?
You put them with Glenda.
I know. I was like, no, Linda was the one who took out the tissue for, and we were all like, there, like, well, here's like the lungs, here's the kidneys, and I was like, but where's? He's like the one that does like all of this. We had 17-week twins in the freezer because we're waiting for feeder home to pick them up.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, I'm sorry, you can't see them. They were like the most intact because it was a fetal anomaly. The conjoined twins. I was like, I'm sorry, we put formalin in there, so it's all like dark white. And it's not clear. It's not like something you can see. And he goes, oh, but I was like, but it's really cool though. There's like 3 legs and like 2 spinal cords and
I'd be
like.
down to see that. That would be
Yeah,
pretty cool to like.
But like it was different because I was like, I know you're not the tissue guy, so it's not the same as when you're like, hey, look. We're a little bit different
She actually
than
asked
other
me,
providers.
Different is good. I hate mainstream. It just seems so disingenuous. I'm just like, why am I listening?
And I'm like, yeah, I have like a leg for you. I'm like, oh shit. If other people were to hear me, they'd be like, you are f***ing evil. You are f***ing evil.
Being that this conspiracy turns out to be true yet again, I mean, I think this conspiracy was already proven to be true, but it turns out to be true yet again. Wonder why what was the CIA deemed people conspiracy theorists because they wanted to keep the truth hidden.
In the late 60s, the CIA themselves coined the phrase conspiracy theorist to get people off track from actually knowing the truth and making those who are sharing the truth just look crazy.
Anyway, if that conspiracy is right, like my other conspiracy is, are these body parts and tissues really been sewn to science, to the betterment of man and the human race? Or are they selling it to cosmetic companies to make anti-wrinkle cream for the rich? I'm just saying. There's one thing for a mom to have a baby that unfortunately passed away in the womb or during delivery, or even if you wanted to abort your own kin, your own blood, your own flesh and blood, even if you wanted to do that and you signed some sort of document saying like, I want these body parts to be donated to another child, another human being who needs these things to survive, like organ donation, right? I know people who've had that done who, again, their child unfortunately died within the womb or during birth, and they sign papers saying like, okay, donate their eyes and organs and stuff like that to people that it's going to help them survive. That is not what this is. This is donating to science or the black market, and it's the fact that they can stand there and just talk about it like so gleefully. Like, that woman is drinking a lot because she's probably drinking her miseries away because she's know that she's like doing some terrible evil work. But the fact that they can sit there and say this without like literally vomiting on each other, because that's how I would feel. Even talking about this is making me sick to my stomach. And they can say it so nonchalantly. It just proves to my point that I've said before, that I think the introduction of abortion to Western society, especially like abortion past a certain month, right? Abortion past a certain trimester, abortion past a certain week, has basically bred a society of sociopaths. Because if you're saying that a baby, a human life, really has no value at all, where you can basically pretty much dismantle it while it's alive, kill it while it's alive, cause it pain and misery, cause it terror, and it doesn't matter because that person has no human value, then why does human beings have any value in general? Why would a human being have any intrinsic value when you're saying like, well, up until you push your head out of your mom's vagina, well, willingly, like the mother wants to push you out, because one of the ways a partial birth abortion works is you partially birth the baby. So basically the baby is partially birthed, but I guess if the baby's body isn't fully out of the womb, out of the vagina canal, then it has no human value. So if that has no human value simply because the shoulders hasn't been revealed, why would any other human being have any intrinsic value for just being a human being? So to me, it just breeds a generations of sociopaths and with lacking human empathy. And of course, a lot of people who will work in these industries will call themselves feminists and progressives, who are supposed to be the most empathetic. We all know that's a lie, but that's what they try to cape themselves as. But sitting there talking about dismantling fully formed babies, because that's why you can dismantle them and sell them, and even if they're not fully formed, using their tissue, like saying it with like almost glee is something really sick about that. And I do think we will get to the point, there will be a time, whether it's 100 years from now, if this place still exists, if society like this still exists, or the world still exists, that people will look back in history books and museums and be like, wow, God, thank God we're no longer that barbaric. Because if you think about it, it's very barbaric. It's very barbaric to dismantle a kid that you partially birthed out of the womb. This baby thinks it's about to be born and it's just like murdered. Like, I don't know, it's something very barbaric and unevolved about it. And so I do think we're going to get to a point where we evolve more as a society, where they're going to look back on this and be like, wow, we used to be really barbaric. We used to like fucking smash babies' heads in. Like, that's crazy. And it's so funny how like people will look at other developing countries where mothers and families will kill their infants, whether they kill them because they just don't have enough to feed another mouth, or they kill them because they don't want to have a girl, which again, girls are the most aborted And even in the West, even in America, girls are the most aborted, but they're the most murdered or slaughtered when they're infants in developing countries. So you'll see these documentaries or these videos of mothers like suffocating their babies, or just, you know, throwing them outside to let them die, or just straight up slaughtering them or whatever. And then you have comments like, oh my God, that's so terrible. How could they do that? What's wrong with them? People need to save these people, blah, blah, blah. But we literally do it, the same exact thing in the West, in America, but because it's in a hospital and you've been told that it's a medical procedure, all of a sudden it's progressive, it's amazing, we celebrate it. Why? Because it's out of sight, out of mind. You don't have to actually have to feel the pain of that child. Literally the only living species on this planet that has no protection, because you can't hear their screams, you can't hear their cries, you can't hear their begging and their pleading, so it's fine, right? You have animal protection, you have animal rights activists, and yeah, you do have some pro-life activists, but they're in the minority. And places like the UK, they're literally being arrested for praying for unborn children, and the mothers who have to get these abortions don't have to, but the mothers who do get them.
Are you protesting?
No.
Are you here to pray for the lives of unborn children?
As I've mentioned to one of your colleagues before, I think that's a little bit of a leading question. No, I'm not, actually, today.
Can your actions be carried out elsewhere?
I'm not doing any actions. I'm just simply thinking silently in my head.
Why have you chosen this location to stand?
This is an abortion centre. I'm praying for those who've been hurt by abortion.
So, when I said before, are you here to pray for the lives of unborn children?
Yes.
So, yeah.
I said no.
You said no.
I'm praying for those who've been hurt by abortion.
Hurt by abortion?
Yes, that's right. I don't know if you know, but I have actually been arrested twice. I've gone to court and been acquitted for allegedly my silent prayers.
So again, I'm not totally for a complete ban on abortion, but definitely past like a few weeks, and definitely anti partial abortion, birth abortion. Definitely anti that. I think it's demonic. I think it's demonic and barbaric and should never be done. I guess unless the mother's life is in danger, but even then it needs to be a more humanitarian way of offering this kid's life, or it's really hard to talk about. Anyway, and I also think even if the parent says, yeah, I want to get an abortion, right? I think they should be really aware and informed of what's happening to the body of that infant, that unborn child. I think they should be aware of that, because maybe they would have a second thought of what they're doing and their actions. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the comment section below. And you can super thanks, and you guys have an amazing, beautiful day. Bye!